All right, hello. Welcome to the reading for the full moon in Aries. So intense, me, I get it done, I don't need your help. Aries, babies, this full moon is going to be, if you read up on the astrology that's happening around, people are saying this is the most intense or most pertinent week in astrology of the year. I've heard it be described as the kind of birthing canal of the rest of the metaphysical and the astrological year. So I'm going to post a link at the bottom of my YouTube reading to the astrologer that I usually listen to and usually resonate with to get an update of what's happening in the astrological world. But for now, we're just going to tune in and see what the guides have to say for us. As always, Indigo Instinct on YouTube, Indigo Instinct on Instagram and Facebook. If you are listening to me on one platform, feel free to check me out on one of the other ones. And I'd love to hear your feedback, love to hear your comments. And I hope this full moon bodes well for everyone. The message I've been getting the most strongly from my own guides and for the kind of general message of the global situation is just stay in your lane. So I know there's a lot of distraction, and there was the presidential debate and all this stuff, and there's a lot of other things to look at that are making a lot of noise right now. But if you can just stay in your lane and stay focused on what makes you feel healthy, what makes you feel happy, what work are you working on right now, if you can be more focused on that right now, I feel like it's going to be easier to move through this astrological birthing canal in the next little while. For those of you who've never listened to a reading with me, do a 4-card spread, primary energy up top, shadow energy down below, the energies that we're not able to see, and I'm bringing them into light so that we can better understand what's going on. And then I do a pathway read, which is a block card over top, the energy that's keeping you stuck, and the way through your pathway underneath. Okay, I'm gonna put that to the side for now. All right, our lovely sage as our primary energy. I'll move that to the forefront. There we go. So focusing on your studies, focusing on the role of the sage is to be an observer and be present, but not be in the middle of all of the chaos and in the middle of the war or the battlefield per se. So I know there's something going on with Mars right now, that Mars is, I think, maybe closer to the Earth, or it's in a particular conjunction with the other planets. So there's a lot of hot energy right now, and this full moon can bring up a lot of arguments or disagreements or sort of tensions coming to a head. But staying in the role of the sage, staying in the role of the person who is patiently observing, being aware of their surroundings, and most importantly, being aware of what's going on inside them. When you wake up in the morning and recognizing, wow, I feel kind of off today. So instead of, if you're working from home, instead of going right into your job and right into what you would normally do as you set up your routine, maybe go for a walk, or maybe have a long shower. Taking care of yourself. We see a lot of things about self-care and self-nourishment, but what are the actionable steps that you actually take to keep yourself or to bring yourself back to a sense of state of balance when you're feeling a little bit wobbly? The other message that the sage brings is that of slow road and patience. I know giving yourself time and taking patience is a theme that I bring up in my readings a lot. But when we pulled the sage as our primary energy, it's really about looking to the long haul. Like, what are your distant plans? What are you really working towards, instead of this maybe intense or small goal that you've got right in front of you that you really want to just make? The Sage is about planning for the bigger picture, the longer road, you know, the garden with the fruit trees, not the garden with the flowers that are going to bloom right away. So be patient with yourselves. Be aware of what's going on around you, and bring yourself that compassion and that sort of grounded observation that'll help you navigate these next couple of weeks. For our shadow energy, I'm not surprised. So our shield maiden is our beautiful Celtic warrior of essentially organization. And when she comes reversed in the shadows, there could be a lot of feeling right now of kind of, I don't know where to start, and I feel like I have a million things going on, and you kind of feel like you're juggling a bunch of stuff, and you've got all these things that you want to accomplish, but you haven't been able to kind of fit them into some sort of cohesive track or some sort of cohesive list. So the first image that I'm getting from the kind of universal guides right now is there's a need to get rid of the distraction, which is coming in the form of clutter. So even if it's a simple thing like you're letting your desk get kind of cluttered, or you're letting your kitchen get kind of gross, you know, clearing away that stuff so that you can give yourself and give your mental space a visual sense of clarity, that'll help bring and instigate bringing things closer together and in more of a nicely tied knot. I'm just going to tune in for a second. Yeah, the other general energy that I'm getting is there's a lot of outside noise right now. So maybe from someone you care about, or maybe a loved one, maybe a partner. There's a lot of, well, it would work better if you tried it this way, or you should be doing it this way, or maybe there's some disapproval of how you're moving about your life. And again, I guess with that message that I said at the beginning of staying in your lane, the more that you can be focused on how you're going to do things, and it's helpful to be aware, you know, you don't need to just put your blinders on and dive in and not ever think about anything else or anyone else's ways of doing things, but be focused on what works for you, because that's going to be, it sounds like a tried and true thing, but it's actually a lot harder to put into practice. So even if you can do that just in small habits, like, you know, you find that when you hang out with a friend, you always end up getting a coffee even though you don't really drink coffee, or you end up overindulging in a certain situation because it's the situation that you're in. Bringing awareness to those small aspects of your life and kind of bringing it back to simplicity, especially as we switch over in terms of the seasons right now, things like doing a simple cleanse, like 24-hour cleanse or 2-day cleanse, really simple things, drinking tea for a couple of days, those are going to make your mind feel a bit more clear, and it's going to become easier to get prioritized, because as we move into November, the image that I'm getting is that organization is going to be key to helping you feel grounded. So those are our 2 cards, and I don't know why I flipped the pathway card first. Maybe I was feeling optimistic, but our block right now, okay, cool, that's a great, I really love pulling this card. So Archangel Michael is the primary angel, kind of the overseer angel of protection and of feeling protected and feeling safe. And they can appear as either gender. So in this card, they appear as a woman, and there's this, she's coming forwards in the block position, because there's this sense of, even though on paper it might seem like you kind of have everything's actually okay, you know, like things are organized, you're paying your bills on time, there's this sense of fear inside that you're not actually okay. And for the Canadians, maybe it's because the CERB just ended, or there's this kind of shift of, okay, we kind of thought the COVID stuff would be over by now when it started in the spring, and things are kind of they're still unsure. They're not going to get any more sure anytime soon, but feeling that fear and swallowing and absorbing that sense of fear, especially the fear that's going on in the outside world, it's not bringing you any sort of support. So if there's somebody or a sign or a symbol or something that you use to signify that everything is okay, you know, maybe it's like the image of a butterfly, and when you see a butterfly, it means everything's fine. Focus on that sort of safety or happy symbol that you've got, and feel free to send me a DM if you don't really know about what I mean about having a safety symbol or having imagery for yourself. I'm happy to answer any questions. But there's this need to really understand that although the fear is present, you are safe and you are guided, because right now, with the intensities of everything that's happening, it's going to, if you fall into the fear that's present, you're kind of going to be gone, and you're going to be gone for a couple of months, and you're going to really spiral. So trust that you're safe, or be aware that you're feeling unsafe, and then work with somebody that you care about, or with symbols or with angels or whatever, so that you can come to a place of trust in the next little while. And then your pathway, which kind of fits in quite nicely with the theme, pulling the wolf card in our pathway, there's a need for a certain amount of solitude. So wolves, and in this deck and this description of this wolf, it's often described as, wolves. Yes, they move in packs, and yes, they hunt all year round, and they don't hibernate like a lot of other animals, but they also have this ability to be extremely independent and to always go out on their own. So the word I'm getting is self-preservation. The way in which you can take care of yourself, and the way in which you can move forwards into these intensifying couple of weeks, which won't last forever, I promise, is to really just focus on you. And if you're somebody who's really in their head a lot, and you are easily susceptible to depression, or you get really focused on your issues and stuff, then make sure that you're going for walks and you're getting outside, and you're connecting with something other than just your own story. But in terms of general health and clearing the spiritual path and the energetic path in the next little while, a certain degree of solitude, or at least a freedom from all of the distraction that you may have in your life, which could even be, you know, weekly commitments with friends, or dinners with your family on Friday nights that you are usually participating in. Bring yourself in a little bit so that you can at least take stock of what's going on, because the internal realm right now is the one that's in focus. So, and some of you, I'm getting another word of bravery. So some of you, that's also going to mean that going out on your own and being solitary for a little bit is an act of courage. So if you're really used to depending on people, or always being surrounded by people all the time, can you take that step of bravery and start doing things in your own company a little bit more? It might bring up some things that are really true revelations. So I hope that helps. I know my words were a bit scrambled today, but I hope it's clear, and I hope it resonates with you. And as always, love to hear your feedback, and looking forward to doing another reading soon. Until next time.